Collection.
Long dramatic pause. What am I doing? I don't remember. Hello and welcome to the Campbell Video Collection's Alphabetical Movie Marathon Challenge. What better way to spend COVID-19 lockdown than to watch a movie marathon? The one I chose was the alphabetical one. Starting with A, going through Z, first letter of the alphabet for each movie, and this is the number 4, which is the letter D. This is the letter D, and if there's only one movie to count for the letter D, an action movie, one action movie that counts for letter D, it is going to be Die Hard. One of the best action movies ever made. Definitely the best action movie that starts with the letter D, Die Hard. I don't know how. The first one. What I chose to watch actually was the Die Hard trilogy, or as the collection, my DVD, this got it on DVD, and as it says, it is the Ultimate Collection, which isn't the case so much anymore. There's 2 other Die Hard movies to do here, so. But I watched, so I stuck with the original trilogy. Die Hard, back when they could show people holding guns in the movie posters, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's better or not. Actually, this was the movie poster. He doesn't show a gun. He's just surprised that the building's exploding. 40 stories of sheer adventure. Bruce Willis, Die Hard. Thrilling. Yes, it is. Heart-stopping. Kinda. I guess so. Not literally, though. So, here's what the back of the case says the movie is about. High above the city of L.A., a team of terrorists has seized a building, taken hostages, and declared war. But one man has managed to escape detection, an off-duty cop. He's alone, tired, the only chance anyone has. Bruce Willis stars as New York City detective John McClane, newly arrived in Los Angeles to spend the Christmas holiday with his estranged wife, Bonnie Bedelia. They use the juxtaposition of a New York City cop with a kind of different mentality coming into LA, and then therefore kind of making fun of LA or teasing it a little bit. But as McClane waits for his wife's office party to break up, terrorists take control of the building, while the terrorists' leader Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, in a career-defining role, I would say, definitely put Alan Rickman on the map for me. There's a lot of career-defining roles in here. I'm sorry, and his savage henchman Alexander Godunov. Round up hostages, McClane slips away unnoticed. Armed only with his service revolver and his cunning, McClane launches his own one-man war. A crackling thriller from beginning to end. Die Hard explodes with heart-stopping suspense. Bum, bum, bum. They try and kill him quite a bit, but he's hard to die. He dies hard. 1988. First rated R movie I ever saw. 88 would make me 13 at the time, I believe. And I was just saw it at the lovely Nile Theater in Mitchell, Nebraska. Anyway, if you like action, you like Die Hard. And there's so many. It's just such a great movie, man. Such a great movie, man. So Bruce Willis had, been known for moonlighting and had been doing a couple of movies at this point, but he hadn't really got quite made the transition between the two. The thing that really kind of shot him up as being a big budget name for movies was Die Hard. It really put him on the map. I think as far as like not being a television actor, because back in those days you were either a television actor or you were a movie actor. Both were one was considered better than the other, basically, which isn't true nowadays. It might seem weird to you because like everybody is doing television, although there are TV actors that don't transition into movies, but there's a lot of movie actors still doing television. Alan Rickman, I just loved him in this part. He, even though he's the bad guy, he's got such charisma and such fun in the role. He's not overplaying it like he did in Robin Hood, and he's not the Prince of Thieves, and he's not underplaying it like he did with Severus Snape on the Harry Potter movies. It's a good mix. He does, when he pretends to be a hostage. It was pretty believable at that time, and of course, when I was first saw it, I was like 13, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, he changed his accent! Isn't that amazing?" Uh, because why would you think that this person wasn't German to begin with? Which is kind of silly, or whatever. I think it was supposed to be Gruber. Something I think is German. Alexander Godunov got third billing. That is interesting to me. I don't know what he had done beforehand, but this is like kind of the role that I picture him in when I think about that guy. Um, I mean, I'd know. It seems like I'd seen him in other things as kind of like the henchman part. I could be wrong about that. It could have happened afterwards. Um, it's hard to say. All the henchmen are kind of not necessarily cookie cutter. I mean, you've got some interesting henchmen in there. The main guy, Heinrich, was it? Let's see, does it tell me? Nope, just a savage henchman by Alexander Godunov. His character was just so angry the whole time, and then the black hacker guy was just hilarious with the quarterback is toast kind of enjoyment of the movie is great. And then the supporting cast. Let's see if I can find their names here real quick. I mean, you got Reginald Val Johnson as Sergeant Al Powell, which I always thought, like when I first saw it and like back when I was younger, I got kind of confused because after he drops the body on him, McClane's like, "Welcome to the party, pal," and then his he just kept calling him pal in the movie to me, like I couldn't quite get the. Does he just keep calling him pal? His name's Al Powell. Al Powell. It was just slightly. Mix up in my head. Argyle was also just a great character, very fun. This is Christmas music. Is great. I love it. Such a great movie, man. It's just Walter Peck's back. I don't remember the actor's name. I don't see him in here. Maybe William Atherton. Is that right? Is it William Atherton? I don't know, but he was in a sequel, so I'm gonna check it out. Check it out, y'all. You gonna be kind? No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a double standard for you. William Atherton. Yeah, okay. So, William Atherton plays the reporter. Walter Peck is back to be from Ghostbusters to be a annoying presence in the movie. He's not a bad guy, but he's just such an opportunist prick. Venkman got it right when he called him that. So it's hard for me to differentiate the two characters because they're just so it's similar, I guess. Anyway, so it's just, this is great, and then he's just perfect in that role, and then so it's really nice at the end when Holly decks him one. Bonnie Bedelia as Holly Gennaro McLean has got the acting chops. She's able to do the drama of being a separated wife to John McClane, and then she's also got the badassness of just being able to stand up to Hans Gruber. He's like, "Hey, what a-hole put you in charge?" And she's like, "You did." I realize it's still a man's movie. A man has to come in and save her, but I think only because she was in a situation she couldn't do it herself. I mean, she was in there and she was taking out. She wasn't taking out bad guys, but she was keeping her people safe for however long it would take. She's a really great counterpoint, I think, to John McClane. John McTiernan, and he was at the height of his career. I don't know if he was at the height of his career, but there was definitely a period of time when John McTiernan had his pulse on what a good action movie is, and or was. I think still is. I think his stuff, especially throughout this period, maybe up until Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then after that, I can't remember how much I like his movies, but definitely Die Hard, and then I think Predator, I believe. Edit that out if I'm wrong. The Hunt for Red October, I believe. I'm gonna have to IMDb this to make sure I'm correct. But he was definitely just a great director to go with. And Jan de Bont, cinematographer. I love the cinematography in this movie, and then I think he goes on to direct some very good action movies in the '90s. I think Speed, Die Hard. No, Die Hard. Well, he should have directed his own Die Hard movie. Oh, that would have been interesting. But Twister. Die Hard changed the face of action movies, kind of. I mean, not really, because you'd still have your Stallone movies and your Schwarzenegger, and I don't know if if it, and then, but pretty much after this was probably the Van Damme and the Steven Seagal movies. But it seemed like after Die Hard, everything became Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard on a train, Die Hard on a bus. It's just it was such a breath of fresh air. I think people could feel it at the time, and I think it still resonates as being a funny movie. I don't think the jokes are necessarily dated. His quippy one-liners have more to do about being a smart aleck rather than dealing with topical situations. I mean, I guess there's going to be a time when Jeopardy doesn't exist and people will be like, "Double Jeopardy, what's that?" But I don't know. I think that'll stay in the lexicon for quite a while. I think Die Hard holds up today. The way it is shot and some of the stuff in it, you can tell it's the '80s, but I don't think that holds the movie back. I think it's there the whole time. Yeah, Die Hard's just a brilliant movie. So good. So good. Go watch it right now. Stop listening to me. Go watch it. Die Hard. Die Hard. Such a great movie, man. Alright, so this is actually a really nice DVD. I think I said that already. So I'll edit it in right now. 5-star collection that Fox was putting out when they put out these DVDs were actually pretty nice for a DVD collector like myself. I hope all this stuff has translated on to the Blu-rays that they have released, and probably the 4Ks, with hopefully new stuff that comes out. But I mean, this has got commentary from the director and the producer, or no, production designer. Some scene-specific commentary for the special effects advisor, subtitle commentary with various cast and crew, and then a branching version with the extended power shutdown cut scene back into the movie, which you can do that, or on disc 2. It's a nice 2-disc collection. Um, Extended scenes, the airplane sequence and power shutdown scene. The cutting room, you can re-edit and remix your favorite scenes. It's been too long since I've done that, so I don't know if that's any fun or not. Deleted lines and sequences reel. Interesting. Gag reel, might be fun. Newscasts, interactive articles from American Cinematography and Cinefex magazine, full-length screenplay. Now you can kind of tell that this was one of the older discs. I wonder if they just got this from the Laserdisc, because that seemed to be a very popular thing when the Laserdiscs came out. But that's just not something I think you get anymore as an extra feature. I mean, I have to pay more attention to things, but definitely back in this was back in the era of when they're like, oh, people will read stuff on their TV, so let's give them stuff to read, which is kind of interesting. Still gallery, trailers, and TV spots. So a lot of good bonus features for a what was this released? 2000 for a 2001 disc release, and it's in widescreen, as it should be in widescreen. Get your widescreen TV and watch it. So fun, such a fun movie. It's action, so much action, so much fun. Such good times. Such a great movie, man. I haven't watched Die Hard in 10 years, and it's not a movie that I shouldn't watch. It should be every Christmas. Every Christmas I should watch it, right? This and It's a Wonderful Life, back-to-back marathon. Die Hard. The movie is so good that you want to see more, but you cannot really live up to it. So that brings us to Die Hard 2, Die Harder. I'm still waiting for Die Hardest to come out. I don't know if they just thought it was too, like they shouldn't have called Die Hard 2 Die Harder. But anyway, it's the best of the blockbusters, says Joel Siegel. Good Morning America. Which, for the year it came out, which was 1990, that might have been true. I don't know. If you haven't seen this movie, let me read the back to you. On a snowy Christmas Eve in the nation's capital, a team of terrorists has seized a major international airport and now holds thousands of holiday travelers hostage. The terrorists, a renegade band of crack military commandos led by the murderous rogue officer William Sadler, have come to rescue a drug lord from justice. They've prepared for every contingency except one: John McClane. Bum, bum, bum. An off-duty cop gripped with the feeling of deadly deja vu. Bruce Willis returns in his heroic cop who battles not only terrorists, but also an incompetent airport police chief, Dennis Franz, a hard-headed commander, John Amos, of the Army's anti-terrorist squad, and a deadly winter snowstorm. The runways are littered with death and destruction, and McClane is in a race against time. His wife, Bonnie Bedelia, is trapped on one of the planes circling overhead, which is desperately low on fuel. It's an all-out war, a heart-stopping, jet-propelled journey filled with excitement and terror. Fasten your seatbelts. Is this another heart-stopping? Yep. Another heart-stopping adventure for John McClane. But don't worry, gets reboosted. Clear, because he's back. Because he dies hard. You can't keep a good McClane down. Die Hard 2. Kind of hard to live up to Die Hard 1. I still enjoy Die Hard 2. Even though a lot of people were like, oh, it's terrorists again. Oh, his wife is held hostage again. But I think you can tell they really tried to make it different. They truly, she's on a plane. that's going to run out of fuel and crash if he doesn't get the airport back up and running. And of course, he's just, the right guy at the wrong time. Again, story of my life. I think he uses that line. And they do pull some self-referential things like, McClane's running through underground tunnels, being like, terrorists, Christmas, wife hostage. How does this happen to two? How does this happen twice to the same guy? My movies are falling on my head. This is not where I normally store my movies. Do not worry. Or worry, I don't care. I just thought they'd make a nice backdrop. I really did. I picked some that I enjoyed. That's why they're there. But now let's talk about Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Hey, look. He's always looking at at something exploding. Right? It's like, hey, look, there's an airport on fire. It's never on fire, but then it's like, hey, look, there's a building on fire. And there's fire behind me, isn't there? I know it's there. Kind of thing. In good sequel fashion, they brought back, some of the supporting characters. Al Powell, Officer Al Powell is back. The oily reporter, who I just said his name earlier, and I totally remember what it was. So we've got, Reginald Val Johnson is back, and William Atherton's back, and Bonnie Bedelia is back. So that's kind of nice. They don't have big parts, but they're there. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of nice. You might have been annoyed by it. I was not. I enjoyed Al's cameo and, eating the Twinkies kind of thing to dispel. Either he became a Twinkie junkie when his wife was pregnant, or it dispels the rumor that he believed that his wife was pregnant.
Wait a second there. 2020 Cam. I think your quarantine brain is getting a little loopy there. I think what you meant to say was that he used his pregnant wife as an excuse for the Twinkies, and him eating the Twinkies in Die Hard 2 meant that he was using her as an excuse to buy a bunch of Twinkies. And then also with the other returning cast, Bonnie Bedelia, it was really nice to see her back as Holly, and I'm okay with her being held hostage on a plane. And I think it's really nice that they realized that part of the appeal of the first Die Hard was her interaction with Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber, and that they needed something like that in the sequel. So of course it was great to bring back William Atherton as the slimy reporter, whose name is not Walter Peck, but I'm just going to call him Walter Peck anyway. And so, she had him to bounce off with and be snarky with, while realizing, that something's in trouble. She's not ditzy at all. And it's also nice in sequel fashion, bigger, better, badder, instead of just punching Peck. She, tasered him. So that was really nice. So that I enjoyed all of that stuff on the plane.
William Sadler. I don't know if I've seen William Sadler in a movie before this, and I know I've seen him in other things since. The one thing that I think of, Death from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which I think he was one of the best things about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. But that's a video blog for another time. I think he's a credible villain. You introduce your villain as doing, I think it was Tai Chi, possibly. Forgive me for not knowing exactly. All oiled up and nude in his hotel room, kind of tells you what the mental state of your bad guy is. I think that's all you really need to know. Balanced and disciplined, but bonkers. That's William Sadler's character. Murderous rogue operative. Officer. Murderous rogue officer.
The bad guys in Die Hard 2 are even more cookie cutter than the other ones, just because they're like the standard military type, and so not a whole lot of depth to them. Kind of like at least the first group had a bunch of, they were all kind of different, really memorable characters in there. Like I mentioned, Die Hard 2, a little less memorable characters. Um, Except you've got the young T-1000 in there, Robert Patrick. Uh, I say young, but it's probably way before T-1000.
It's Christmas again, and there's actual snow on the ground, so kind of different from the first one. And McClane does what he does best, which is not die and kill terrorists who are holding people hostage once again, all for some Colombian drug lord to get some money. I think it's just for money. I don't think they're going to go down and recapture his country and help him set up a dictatorial state or anything like that. I think they're just taking the money and running, which is a little disheartening because it's sad to see good guys, military people, make immoral choices. It's kind of sad to see that. A fun movie. I really enjoyed it. There's nothing better than stabbing people in the eye with ice sticks. There's nothing better than stabbing people in the eye with ice cubes. Ice. There's nothing better than stabbing people in the eye with icicles. He's looking at me, isn't he? Directed by Rennie Harlan, who I think at this point people didn't really know who Rennie Harlan was as an action director. And then, he went on to do Cliffhanger, or Letter C movie. If you haven't watched C, go ahead and check that out if you want to. So it's interesting that it came out in 1990 because watching it, you kind of see the stereotypes that continue on through the 90s because the characters in this, it almost could have been a Michael Bay movie to me, I think, if it had been shot a little, in the Michael Bay style, especially the groundskeeper, janitor, crazy guy who lives in the airport basement. He seems like a character from a Michael Bay movie to me. And I think that it's a character that has been played out again and again in early, mid 90s movies. I mean, if you look at the insert here.
Okay, so when I talked about before double standards, here's the Die Hard 2. You got your flip open thing and all your pictures and stuff, which I can't. My new fisheye camera doesn't want to focus on. This is right there, and I can't see if it's focused or not. In the first Die Hard, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of stuff, and then the cast and crew on the side. And I'm like, that's what I meant by double standard. But looking at it now, only the first disc is the 5-star collection. The other two are just special edition.
I don't know if it's because if they did the individual release, if they thought more people would buy the first movie than they would the second movie. I don't know if they probably were sold individually, but I got the trilogy box set. Special features, commentary by Rennie Harlan. Then it goes into the widescreen and blah, 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 blah. Die Harder, the Making of Die Hard 2 documentary, Making of featurette, Villains Profile featurette, 4 deleted scenes, interview with Rennie Harlan, behind the scenes vignettes, storyboard sequence, visual effects breakdown, trailers, and TV spots. So they don't give it as much love as the first Die Hard movie, which is accurate, I would say. I think that's true through most people. I don't know if I've ever met anyone who's been like, I like Die Hard 2 better than I do Die Hard 1. Which brings us to Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance. If you're going to die hard, do it with a vengeance. Because you don't want to just be lackadaisically dying hard. You want to do it with a vengeance. A tense, terrifically funny action dazzler. Fun with a vengeance, says Gene Shalit of Today Show. Says Gene Shalit of Today Show. Sorry, Gene, that I didn't remember your last name. The first quote was from Peter Travers, Rolling Stone. Yeah, it's a tense, terrifically funny action dazzler. Sure, yeah. Fun with a vengeance. I would call it fun. Yeah, it's a fun action movie. In the third installment of the hugely successful Die Hard series, reteams Bruce Willis and director John McTiernan. Hey, I was right. McTiernan. In a new action-adventure extravaganza of special effects, unexpected comedy, and non-stop thrills. I don't know. I find John McClane funny. I found the first Die Hard funny. Die Hard 2, maybe a little less funny. The whole just the facts line was funny for us Dragnet fans. Maybe not as funny as the first one, but I would I would expect funny. This time, New York cop John McClane is actually in New York. Willis is a personal target to the mysterious Simon Jeremy Irons, a terrorist determined to blow up the entire city if he doesn't get what he wants. Accompanied by an unwilling civilian partner, Samuel L. Jackson, McClane careens wildly from one end of New York City to the other as he struggles to keep up with Simon's deadly game. It's a battle of wits between a psychopathic genius and a heroic cop who once again finds himself having a really bad day. Which he says, I think, several times in the movie, I'm having a really bad day. Hungover. So this movie finds John McClane back in New York City, back having troubles with the missus. And I guess that's kind of interesting, for one, being a New York detective, being in New York. I think they used New York well in this movie. I enjoyed it. It was a nice change of pace. Have a summertime Die Hard instead of a winter Christmas Eve Die Hard. Yeah. Die Hard with a Vengeance. This, I liked all the Die Hard movies. I think John McClane is a good character. Watch him get blown up, shot up. No matter how many terrorists, but / actual burglars he comes up against, I'm all for. I will watch it. I'll give it a try. Die Hard with a Vengeance is something that I think pushes the Die Hard part a little too far. There were just one too many unbelievable things for me in it. I was kind of like up into the part McClane shoots out of the drainage thing, the tunnel in the ground, and Samuel L. Jackson just happens to be there. And then the whole sliding down the wire and then falling 100 feet. I don't know how much it's supposed to be, but it's a great distance onto some metal containers. It was a little too unbelievable for me. I had problems with that, but the rest of the movie is great. I think Jeremy Irons is a good villain, a good foil for McClane. He seems to remain one step ahead of him for the most of the movie, and then McClane tries to play a little catch up after that. But I think that's okay to have smart villains, because that just means your main character is smart. in all honesty.
Die Hard 3, really, Jeremy Irons is the only memorable character. The bad guy's pretty basically Euro trash. Some of them don't even speak English. You've got the female, and then you've got the his other cohort there, but really they're not quite as special as the first ones. They do have a female villain in there um, for the first time. First time a female bad guy. I think that only carries over to the next one. Live Free or Die Hard definitely has a strong female villain presence. And I don't remember. I don't even remember what the fifth one's called. Die Hard with Mother Russia. No, I don't know. I don't remember what it is. I'm sorry to say.
Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. It was nice to have Samuel L. Jackson in the movie, have someone for McClane to bounce things off of. Most of the time, he's usually, especially like in the first movie, he's pretty much by himself, except when he's on the radio with um, Pal, Wool, to, just for human contact. But really, he's saying is, talking to himself pretty much most of the movie, and the second movie he's got some other people that he talks to, but once again it's him running around doing things by himself. And this movie is kind of nice that he has a someone there to bounce things off of, and I don't know if they decided that it worked for people to be with him, or if Bruce Willis just liked having someone actually there the whole time, because that's pretty much what they do for the next two Die Hard movies, which I also enjoyed for their own right, but I didn't watch for the Alphabetical Movie Marathon Challenge. I mean, technically, I only had to watch one movie, Die Hard, but I get it's kind of like if you're gonna watch one, you might as well watch two, and I had time to watch three, so it all went together pretty smoothly for me. This was still back when this was released. When this DVD was released in, I can't find it. It's Die Hard with a Vengeance. So it's a lovely 2-disc set. Bonus features Disc 1 commentary with director John McTiernan. Just the one commentary. Disc 2 alternate ending, behind the scenes Die Hard with a Vengeance TV special. A Night to Die For / McClane is Back TV special. Making of featurette, behind the scenes featurette. Oh, I'm sorry, vignettes. It's not a feature. It's a vignette. Vignette. Storyboard sequence, Bruce Willis interview, special effects breakdown, trailers, and TV spots.
It's just a special edition, so you got that. And that there. Right there.
So that was the Die Hard Ultimate Collection in 2001. And I got them all messed up now. I got to get them right. Can't have them. Let's see. Nope, Die Hard. Left to right, that's how it's going to go, right? 2, 3. Yep. It's American. I guess if I was in different countries, I would have it like that, only not upside down. Out of the bad guys for the 3 movies, I would have to go with the Gruber brothers over the William Sadler character, General, what's his name? And out of these two, I maybe it's just because I like Alan Rickman better than Jeremy Irons, barely. But I think I'm going to go with Hans Gruber. Hans Gruber. Simon had a little more planning and how to effectively deal with McLean. Whereas, McLean was just the fly in the ointment, the whatever else he says in that part. But I'm going to go with Gruber. You really felt his menace. Not that you didn't feel the menace here, but I think going into it, you always knew Simon Gruber was the bad guy. He starts off with a beautiful explosion. How explosions can be beautiful. But yeah, it was just a great explosion at the beginning of the movie, and just goes on from there. Whereas Hans, you don't really quite know what's up with him for most of the movie. He just kind of you're just kind of along for the ride. But I think he really does a good job. I think it's one of Alan Rickman's best performances. Jeremy Irons, it's up there as one of my most enjoyable watching him. But I would go with Hans Gruber, original bad guy, and he's out of all 5 of the movies. I'll go ahead and throw the other two in there.
They are all numbered. Die Hard is number 200112556. Be nice if I could zoom on this thing, or focus on this thing. That'd be nice. I do not have that ability of my current technology. I need to update. Die Hard 2 is 2001, 2, 3, 2, 1255. 1255. So 1256, 1256, 1255, and 1258. So yeah, there's the Die Hard faster collection. And then you got disc 1, disc 2, disc 1, disc 2, disc 1, disc 2. So I didn't get that stuff shot before, so I wanted to show it.
So that was our DE movie. Die Hard. Such a great movie, man. Trilogy. Yeah. Things are really livening up now in the old movie marathon. So we're going to check it out. Continue on trucking. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And is Die Hard your favorite D action movie? If not, let me know what your favorite action movie starting with the letter D is in the comments down below.
Give me a like.
And don't forget to subscribe.